Subscription models were first started as a good thing and date back to the 17th century. They were meant to give an alternative to people who couldn't afford something at the time. In the 1860s, milk delivery services in the UK officially became a subscription service. Streaming services were bought by people because you could access a ton of content without having to buy the actual media every time. And people went in at the time with the thought of, wow, so much stuff, this is such a great price. Surely they won't increase the price every year by 5% and remove every show I like. Oh wait. Yeah, there's honestly one post that inspired me to make this entire video, and you may have probably already heard about it. DoorDash announces buy now, pay later partnership with Klarna.
You're gonna put what, your 4 for 4 from Wendy's on layaway? What? That's an option? Is that a good idea? Actually, yeah, because people are so dumb. Let's say you had like $20 in your account and you buy some DoorDash. I used to, when I was fat, Fat Mikey Loves used to do that all the time, bro. I used to like DoorDash like twice a day. Like real shit.
Like, how can you see this as a human being and think the world is doing okay? Imagine getting your car repoed because you were a year late on that Chipotle burrito order you bought one day. It looks like more and more that not only have we turned into a subscription-based society, but we're turning into a buy now and pay later society. Soon enough, everything's gonna have a Klarna tag on it and you can buy now, pay later with it. Need to get on the subway but don't have $1? 4 easy payments of 25 cents each month. Need an Uber to drop you off somewhere but don't got the money? 4 easy payments of $5 a month. And take a wild guess at the generation that uses the subscription model the most. According to stats, 93% of Gen Z have at least one subscription service.
But like, I feel like that's not a crazy stat, cause like nowadays you kind of need it, bro. I have Spotify, I have Amazon Prime, but like I feel like I not to say you don't really need the Amazon Prime, honest to God. Have y'all ever had to use like free Spotify? They'll have you listening to bullshit. Let's say you have a playlist of like 600 songs. They'll play you 2 songs that aren't on your playlist. Then after that, they'll follow up with the ad. Then you'll get 1 song from your playlist. Then after that, will be back to bullshit that they recommend. Movies, shows, and games subscriptions are great value. That's what I'm saying, bro. I have my DoorDash subscription too. I get my Ubers discounted because of that shit. Have you ever used like the totally legal Spotify? Like my Spotify used to be pink, bro. If you know, you know.
And we're the biggest drivers of this whole subscription economy. And I'm calling it now. Give it a couple of years and we'll be the biggest drivers in the buy now, pay later model. I think at the end of Gen Z's run, just like how every generation has certain things they're known for, we'll be known as the generation that own nothing. Before the subscription model dominance, everyone would save up to actually buy things. If it was music, you went to a record store and bought the music of whoever you...
That shit whack though, bro. You have to buy a record player, then the record. And if your shit is scratched, it will never work again. Like nobody wants to do this.
Wanted to. If it was games, you went to the game store.
I was in a VPN at college and an ad for a kick popped up of a bitch fucking herself. Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, what is that shit, bro?
And buy whatever games you wanted. And a lot of times I feel like Gen Z forgets that we grew up in these times before everyone switched. Like everyone got their own childhood game collection growing up. And it's sad to know after the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One release, everyone slowly had their collection stacking up less and less with the new generations of consoles. I remember the feelings vividly of going to my homie's house and seeing what type of games they had in their collections. And I understand.
You also rented games back then. Yeah, because how many of y'all, I'm not gonna lie, how many of y'all know about GameFly, bro? How many of y'all know about GameFly, bro? GameFly was crazy. You didn't even have to give back the games, bro. They had even with movies, they had shit like Redbox too, and they had games on Redbox too. I got like the SpongeBob fight game on there. That's not really a new topic, bro. It's just that it's becoming trendy because everybody's dumb with their money. This clearness shit might really take off with the release of the Switch too, you know? Because like that shit is $500. The first Switch ever was $299. How did it go up $300 when the Switch sold 150 million units? My money goes on weed and porn subscriptions. Damn, and this you ask why you're a pimple-faced loser. Why don't people like me?
And why people wouldn't want to go out to the store every time a new game releases. But the feeling of getting that game and that saran wrap and the beautiful packaging, it was just better. And I never was one of the people that waited in line at midnight to get a game drop, but seeing the old video...
I heard Andre did this shit actually, bro. Y'all ever did that, bro? I've never did this ever in my life because I wasn't allowed to. Nigga, I had to be in bed by 9:30. How the fuck I'm gonna be there at midnight?
Of people waiting for the new Call of Duty to drop or anything is so nostalgic. And people's first worries with digital content taking over for the next generations was that because you didn't physically own it, they could take it at any moment and there's nothing you could do. But everyone thought surely that would never happen. And that's too preposterous. How dare they? Until Sony tried it in 2023. Sony in 2023 announced it was going to remove Discovery Channel content for every PlayStation user's library because their licensing agreement was expiring. And the most interesting fact from this entire thing I learned is that Mythbusters has a game. I thought the Discovery Channel was just lines fighting and I didn't know they had something like that in their bag. And when they first announced it, you would think they would have at least told people whether or not they were getting refunds, but they had zero mention of it. So people got pissed off the fact that they were gonna take away the games people bought and not give them a refund. They announced a couple weeks after that they're reversing the decision and managed to update the licensing arrangements. But if they were able to update it so fast, then why the didn't they do that in the first place? It's looking like Sony was testing the waters to see what they could get away with at first. And I think things like,
I'm not gonna lie, kid, what do you think is the moment that like shit really started becoming expensive? The day when they announced the iPhone X was gonna be $1,000. I think that was the day like it was over, bro. iPhone 4 shit was like 600, 700. I'm like, damn, okay, like that shit was going like 4. Being on the phone, hell nah, yeah, that shit was crazy, bro. People were really like in line waiting for that shit and dropped $1,000 on that shit, bro. I think that was when Apple released that shit, released the iPhone X for $1,000. I was like, damn, bro, it might be over. It might be fucking over. And like, look what it snowballed into. The iPhone X came on like when I was in high school still.
Like this is a big part, and when people talk about Gen Z is the generation that will never own anything. No matter how annoying getting a physical copy will get, at least you know you 100% own it. And if Sony could do something like this potentially, then imagine all the major gaming storefronts. They probably got it written in the middle of the 1,000-page term and conditions that they could do it. Which is why I personally always read all terms and conditions and like.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never in my life read that shit. Who got time for that, bro? I'm trying to game. Epilepsy warning, I don't care about that. Even though I used to have epileptic seizures. Don't ask questions.
Before signing anything. Not risking them putting
are so bad, yo. Yeah, there's want to be switch scalpers.
And small text that they could take my soul in any moment if I disobey them. Another reason on why people say most of Gen Z will never own anything is housing and the fact that most of Gen Z will never own a house. I think most people probably won't even start the process of getting one. Like our generation's already having a hard time trying to get an apartment. Because nowadays, they be requiring you to make 3x the income just to...
I said this, bro. Like, even like, let's say like an apartment is $4,000. If you make $10,000, you won't qualify. They like that, which is so insane. If you make if the rent is $4,000 and you make 10, you can obviously afford that shit. They won't give it to you, bro. I've seen it happen, bro. That's just crazy.
To rent it. Just worry if you get your money at the end of the month or not, my. Don't worry on the ways I had to get it. Imagine you're someone making a good salary, like $6,000 a month. You think something like $3,000 a month is good because that's half your income and it's a nice place. Then they come back saying you gotta make at least $9,000. Yeah. How the would I be able to cough up that money? I'm gonna have to go on the streets of Gotham as Batman to do that. The worst part about it too is there's not really anything we could do about it. All these massive investment companies have bought all the houses in America because they have unlimited money. Not just in America too, they do it in other countries. And they put the prices at whatever they want to because they could do whatever they want. They own the market. Which is why rentals are such a common thing now. But the older generation will still be like, grrr, you darn kids, always complaining and never working. Just work harder and you can buy a house like me when I was 18.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I hate old people. You ever met old people like that, bro? They'll always try to get on your ass because you don't want to buy this $1 million home in Los Angeles in the slums. Houses back in the day used to cost a hot dog and a Capri Sun, bro. Like, god damn.
Like, buddy, you bought a house for 2 chopsticks and a penny. Shut up. It took you 6 months of working at McDonald's to put a down payment on that house. It's crazy to me how the older generation still doesn't understand how much of a struggle it is to grow up in this time. They only started to realize after COVID hit and things started affecting them. The older they get, the less and less they want to listen though. And a lot of Gen Z will 100% follow what the older generation says, which I think is a big problem for us. The older generation is right on certain things, but other things, not so much. Like for example, there are a lot of lazy that just sit down and scroll on TikTok all day and just goon the OF girls and don't even try to find a job because they think things are so cooked that it's not worth even trying. And our generation also definitely doesn't handle confrontations well. But what they're 100% wrong on is the old system laid out for success. Like in their time period, the things they're advocating for, yes, you could go to college, come out with your degree, and be guaranteed a nice cozy office job with benefits 99% of the time. But nowadays, you gotta be Spartan fighting with your peers on LinkedIn just to be able to apply for a job. You gotta be pulling some trap.
Yeah, bro. A lot of times, like, I'm guessing, like, the competitive job market, it's not even about, like, your credentials or anything like that. It's dead ass who you know. My friend's trying to get into Harvard, bro, and, like, let's just say, like, she had, like, a 4.0, like, when she came, but then it slipped a little bit, but, like, real shit, so like, she has, like, a 3.8 now, but, like, I think she's guaranteed to get in because now she knows a person that went to Harvard, and, like, the person's in the admissions office. So, like, she's guaranteed to get into Harvard, bro. Like, even though there's people that have, like, 4.5 GPAs and fucking like perfect SAT scores, bro.
Tragic levels of backstabbing just to make it up the ladder. The biggest regret I've noticed a lot of times for people that graduated and are in debt and still can't find a job is that they always say they felt pressure by their parents and family to finish school. There is the aspect of some parents do truly want the best for their kids and they think that's the way they should go about it. But then there's this other toxic aspect of they don't even want to listen and still think their system is 100% foolproof. And they'll never admit it, but it's less about their kids graduating and a lot of times for their ego. They be wanting to flex to everybody what school their kid is going to. And
that is true. That's the thing with my mom. That's the thing with my mom. Last summer, I was like, man, school, I don't need this shit. Cause like they fucked with my graduation shit. I was supposed to go. My mom was yelling at me, you have to finish school because you love school. I'm like, Mom, this shit is your fault. Like, you gotta understand, even with college, bro, like college is a lot of time your parents' dream. Bitch, I'm a fucking Twitch streamer / YouTuber, whatever the what? I need to go to YouTube U? That shit don't fucking matter, bro. Like, I graduated, right? My mom keeps trying to convince me to take out student loans and go back to school for a degree I don't fucking want or I'm gonna ever use. You gotta know when's the appropriate time to just like tune out your parents, bro, because they just be talking about your shit. My mom loves school. She has like her doctorate and shit like that. She loves school. That's her. I told her to her face. I said, Mom, I hate school. Like, those were my words exactly. She was like, no, you don't. You love school. Cause like, Mom, no, school is shit. I hate school. Does your mom feel concentration? Yeah, I told her that. She was like, she's still talking about like, go back to school. Mom, it's over. I've been in college for 5 years. I've never paid for a single year. My college tuition was free and I would never do this shit again. I didn't have to pay a dime. I didn't have to pay a dime for college. And I would still never do it again. Pay to suffer? What kind of sick, kinky shit is that? My mom wants me to become a doctor when I'm trying to become a lawyer. She's still not happy. Like, what's wrong with that? Like, nigga, even being a lawyer is hard as the bar exam is hard as the bar exam is probably like hard as shit. You can't live for your parents, bro. You gotta just learn to shut them out and do what the fuck you want, bro. Because the day you decide, yo, I'm not gonna listen to you, I'm gonna follow my own path, is the day you'll be the happiest ever. That's like that. To me, that's true freedom. And once you feel that for the first time, you'll never go back. Every dollar I've ever made has been in my room. I will always think that's more impressive than me going out getting a job, shit like that. Every dollar I've ever earned has been me talking shit on this setup, bro. Like, and that shit is freedom to me, bro. But it's like, I don't want to like shut that freedom off to go back to school just because my mom tells me to. You feel me? My mom is still pissed at me even though I'm making more money than her. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, I was telling my mom, like, she was telling me like, oh my God, you should go like come. She wanted me to come back home and like work at like the town hall or some shit like that. Like, it's fucking Clash of Clans. I'm like, Mom, if I were to go get a job, it would hurt me. They grew up in a generation where like that shit's not normal. You know, the only way to go make money is either one, go to a fucking sawmill, or two, just go to college. You feel me?
And how good they're doing in school. And a lot of those kids end up blaming and resenting their parents for it, which is why it could be hard, but you just got to make the decision for yourself. More and more people of our generation are realizing that, which I think has been a good thing. There is nobody out there who took that risk for something and it failed that say they regret taking the risk. Unless if, I don't know, maybe you try to rob a bank.
I'm telling you, bro, like, I'm glad he said it. I'm yapping a lot, but like every single like success story there's ever been, it's been a motherfucker that's taking a risk. So real shit, like, even though like I guess I had free college, like real shit, I could have done something with it, but like it's not what I wanted to do. So like I risk I guess the safety of my future for this content creation shit, and it's made me more money than I've ever had. Never be afraid to take the risk, even though like the money isn't as crazy as it is right now, but like when it comes back, gang, I will be making more money than every profession out there besides fucking what, maybe a doctor or a lawyer. Like, scared money don't make no money, bro.
With your homies and you got arrested and got 20 years. Because you could always go back to that original formula and start again. It's not like school is ever going away. Don't get me wrong too, I'm not one of those that says college is useless all the time and you should become a dropshipper on TikTok.
Yeah, don't do that shit. Do not do that shit either, bro. Just do that if you want to. Don't do it just because you see it.
And be eternally sent to posting ads like this for people to buy.
Mustard or ketchup?
But something the older generations don't acknowledge is the amount of ways you can earn money nowadays. Everyone knows there's like a million ways you can make money online. Half of Gen Z is also Uber drivers and Door Dashers instead of even having a traditional job, which you can have pretty much zero education to do. Some of these people are high school dropouts and make more doing those jobs than a cop.
That's true. Like, there's people that just DoorDash. I know niggas that used to DoorDash all day, bro.
College grad. Don't drop out of high school though. Very much stay your ass in school until you graduate. But my point is, college is a no longer end all be all for your life. A lot of our generation will sacrifice our passions and just to do it. But even if you do have the ideal scenario for the way you wanted things to go, it's not like it matters because your ass will probably never ever be able to get a house. It's insane seeing the contrast between how much you made back then and how much a house costed. You could dead ass work for 2 years with a fully saved up salary and buy a house in full. Gen Z and millennials had the worst time in growing up in the housing market. Because imagine not only having houses double the price in the span of 2 years because of COVID, but also having to balance that with the cost of living. By the way, the world is still not financially stable after COVID, so getting a house isn't even a question for people, it's surviving. Which is why most people are choosing to rent. At least it's more reliable than potentially having to go bankrupt over missing your mortgage payments. People have also been speculating that the new houses being built every year are becoming weaker and weaker. Like there's videos of construction workers showing how badly some of the houses are actually built, and it's insane.
See all these $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 houses? Hell, here's one. There's one. All right. I want to show you what these son bitches are made out of. You see that? Better. Okay. There's this.
It's built out of cardboard. It's just built out of fucking the shit you used to make science fair graphics on, bro. Like, what the
Ain't shit to it. I want y'all's goddamn homes built out of fucking cardboard. 200 G's. 200 G's.
2025, there ain't gonna be nothing wrong with new construction.
niggas buying bullshit? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Nigga, you got fucking the life of Jay. Thank you for the follow. Like, you could.
I could throw a Hail Mary through the wall of my house and it makes a hole, I know that getting wiped clean when any natural disaster hits. A new house is out of the question for most of Gen Z anyways, but even if you could afford it, that's what you're dealing with. Which is why a lot of people are—
That's why be looking at me crazy when I just say, I'll be fine with a little penthouse in Dallas. I'll be telling you, I will be fine with a penthouse, bro, because that shit is bullshit, bro. Niggas' walls are made out of paper mache. Amazon house, yeah, bro.
Advocating for people to buy older houses because they say they're more reliable. That American dream of buying a new spanking house after working hard is dead though. Like I'm not buying a truck. And you'll be lucky if you can even find a job for Gen Z nowadays. The job market is so cooked for so many people of our generation, is crazy. You'll hear countless stories of people applying to like 100 jobs and getting one response back, maybe. And it's only ramped up because of COVID. Coming from someone who hasn't had a traditional job in years, I remember in like 2019 when I was in high school applying to a bunch and getting denied. But after about a week, I managed to work at this pizza place and get hired with zero experience. It's almost impossible to have something like that nowadays. Nowadays, people are complaining that some internships are requiring them to have experience too. Like am I an intern or an employee? You mean I need experience? But there may just be one beacon of hope for Gen Z. Hustlers University. Nah, I'm just kidding. Over the next 20 years, Gen Z and millennials are supposed to have the biggest wealth transfer of all time. It's estimated that $84 trillion of assets are going to be passed down from the older generations to—
Chat room. We have to unionize. We have to find some old elderly ass lady and fuck the shit out of her. Find an old ass bitch and fuck her. And so bro should write our names on the will. Yes, you're a child. Everyone above the age of 20. I'm not gonna lie, fuck it, bro. Going to retirement houses, hell yeah, bro. Hey Betty, how you doing, bro? You're so young, strong, and handsome. Give me that meat. Oh! You're popping my hip back in place. Sorry.
To us. And that's accounting everybody 40 and below. According to the new updated terms of being UNC status by the internet though, if you're over the age of 20 years old now, you're too old and you won't qualify. This is all counting though if your family does have assets they could actually pass down, which a majority of people might have, like a car and maybe their parents' house. But if they're still paying for that, yeah, you better run away or you're gonna have to take over their mortgage payments.
Yeah, do you know if your houses are still yeah, my mom's house is already paid off, so like nigga, when she give me that shit, actually the thing with that, y'all probably don't know this, but like real shit, if your parents give you your house, right, you're gonna have to pay the appraisal tax, right? So it's like, I forgot you had to put it in, not a Roth IRA, you have to put it not in a fund, you have to put it in because if they did renovation and shit, like, the value of the house is gonna go up, so you're gonna have to pay taxes on that shit. A trust, I guess it is a trust fund, yeah. You gotta put that shit in a trust fund, bro, so you don't have to pay the tax on that shit. So yeah, so as long as that shit's in a trust fund, you are straight as
or if your family even likes you for real, they could just spend their last money on like some nice ass jewelry and die with the drip as a last A lot of this really won't matter though, because since everything is still going up, that money's probably going to be worth 1/3 of what it should actually be worth. The sad thing about all of this is we all know the system is taking place in front of our eyes and we can't do anything about it. We know the politicians will sell us out with a couple of donos on the table, and the companies can keep doing it as long as it's like that. The only way this changes is when those older generations die off and the younger ones take over, is that we become the heroes and fix all issues, which will definitely happen for sure, because we're the most caring generation and always listen to each other with open minds. We'll have like 5 solid years before we bankrupt the world. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up. I don't want to give everybody a doomer mindset, you know, like there is still hope for things. Things have already changed.
Yeah, real shit. Basically, great video, Tommy. But the message of it, nigga, save yourself, nigga, because no one's coming to help you. That was a great
Change with time
video.
compared to.
Sorry, Tommy. That's a great video. But real shit, y'all gotta be. What's some? Oh, that. You gotta save yourself, bro. Nobody's coming to help you, bro. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can work harder.